All right, welcome to the third review of the evening. Up this time is Slay the Princess, the Pristine cut. You are here to slay the princess. Don't believe her lies. You are on a path in the woods, and on that path is a cabin. And in that basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. She will do everything in your power to stop you. She will charm, she will lie, and she will promise you the world. And if you let her, she'll kill you a dozen times over. You can't let that happen. You do care about the fate of the world, right? So is our premise here. So this game was assigned to the Galax for review, and he has much to imbue us.
On the other hand, as it says after the content warning when you boot up the game, whatever horrors you may find in these dark spaces, have heart and see them through. There are no premature endings, there are no wrong decisions, there are only fresh perspectives and new beginnings. This is a love story. It's both love and horror, and ultimately, if you haven't heard of this game before, should you play Slay the Princess? Generally, emphatically yes, unless you really hate visual novels, or you have a problem with any of the admittedly rather long list of content warnings that this game throws up, of which a brief summary: cosmic horror, unreality, mutilation, body horror, verbal abuse, gaslighting, loss of control.
I believe self-harm is in
gore.
there a few times.
Yeah. So, if you're sensitive to that kind of content, this might not be the game for you. But if it is, this is an amazing game. It is a basic visual novel functionally. It's fully voice acted by only a few people. There are basically what?
Let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous.
4 distinct characters in here, and I think only 2 of them have different voices.
Yeah.
And one of those is you.
Yes, you are an actual
Actually,
person.
that's not entirely true. Many of them are you. But
That's for the viewers to find out later.
so yes, you are. The setup is you are on a path in the woods that goes to a cabin. There is a narrator who tells you to go there and slay the princess. What you do is mostly up to you. Although the first time through you only have so many choices, but it goes back to the beginning, and then after a few tries you get to an end, and then after a few ends you get to like the real end. And even then, you will have only seen a tiny portion of what the game has to offer. And it's a game that is designed to be played many times, unless you get a little bit too attached to any particular ending and decide you don't want to see any other ones. Talking about it too much would spoil things in a way that would probably detract from the experience a bit, but essentially the choices you make change how things turn out, and also what choices will be available in the future for that run, and then the next few things. This is an updated version of the game, which includes 3 new chapter segments The game is basically divided into 3 or 4 chapters, of which there are different versions, and it's 3 new versions of those. Extra content. This version has more stuff tracked, although I think the Switch version doesn't keep track of achievements really properly.
Not
But
really.
it does.
Yeah,
It
that's more
does.
for
It
the
does have.
PC.
It does have an archive that fills up as you play, I believe. So yeah, and all of the art is literally hand drawn with pencil. It's kind of hilarious. Apparently, the devs of this game started working on it as a small side project from their other project, and it ended up being huge because there is a ton of dialogue that changes contextually. The voice acting is very good, especially considering that they managed to significantly convey the same voice but a different character in many different ways.
If the princess really lives here, Slade is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
I guess to some extent you have to get out of it what you put into it in terms of
Almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
what your perspective on stuff is, but
This is
the
a lot
real
more
ends- the real
cerebral
ends-
than most
yeah.
visual novels.
the real ends can be very cathartic, even though a lot of the steps on the way to get there can be
Don't be a stranger.
unpleasant and stressful. I mean, you are there to slay the princess after all, or at least that's what the narrator tells you to do.
You walk down the stairs.
Whether you listen to him or not is
There's a heavy
somewhat
chain
up to
around her
you.
wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's
So yeah, the biggest
Is she really a
question
threat to the world?
isn't
Focus on
whether
the
you
task
should
at hand.
play it so much as whether you should play it on the
And
Switch,
there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
which I'm gonna say probably it's not a bad way to play it, but it's probably not the best way, because the PC version does have the achievements built in, and also ultimately as a visual novel, while it's fine with the controller, it's probably a little bit easier with the mouse.
Can you use the Switch's touchscreen, or is it not
I
built in?
didn't try, but I believe so.
Hmm.
Let me just boot it up again.
Live research.
Also, this on the Switch, the initial load time when I first loaded up the game was pretty slow. It's probably better on the computer. Once you're in, it's fine, but I was waiting on the load screen for
yeah,
like a minute or so.
and that's just because the Switch doesn't have a lot of RAM.
Yeah, and I think it's probably stored on my SD card rather than system memory, because I don't think this is a tiny game.
I think it was a couple gigs when I downloaded it because it's, again, fully voiced.
Yeah. And the art is, they don't want to crush the art too much. It's gorgeous. So yeah, you do get an interesting, I think you can get this with the mouse too if you just move the mouse around the screen or something. But you do get a slight parallax effect on,
It's not like she's a threat.
when you're looking around. It's not like gameplay intensive.
But it could be an issue for some people with various forms of motion sickness. So
Yeah, that is actually one of the non-content
Isn't very becoming of us.
warnings is that the parallax effect. I think you can turn it off in the settings, but I'm not sure.
I believe so. Yes, I can turn
parallax
off.
effect boil. So yeah, you can. The settings let you change a lot of the stuff that you might want to do. It has the usual multi-route
You ignore the trembling in your
visual
hands.
novel thing of letting you skip text that you've already seen, which is important. Yes, the touchscreen does work.
Your hands are shaking.
Good to know.
Are you?
If you
scared
want
of
to do
me?
that,
Because
it
you
comes
should
in
be.
with various subtitles, including English, French,
Now, is it
traditional and simplified Chinese.
is it
Latin
English
American and
voiced
Spanish,
only,
Spanish.
or is it like
I
all the
believe it
voices?
is only English voice.
Alright.
It would be rough to get voice acting
Well, like they could do like the 3 big languages or whatever.
Yeah. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good idea. I'm saying it would be a big project.
Oh yeah, especially for an indie game.
To get good voice acting in other languages as good as the English voice acting, which is really good.
Right.
I'm positive.
So yeah.
But we'll keep our eyes peeled.
So yeah, the Switch is not a bad way to play this, but I think PC might be better.
Hesitating. Why don't you help them nice
And
for the two of
like
us
I said,
to civilize
unless
each other?
you have a problem with any of the content warnings that are listed here or that I've described, or if you want a more specific but slightly spoilery list, the Black Tabby Games website has a list of the content warnings in pretty great detail, which may itself, if you're really sensitive to thinking about some things. So yeah, that's... I don't want to say too much else because, again, a lot of it... And there's the thing that I wanted to have the content warning on there for, because yes, you do, like, there is stabbing with a knife. That's one of the core gameplay elements that happens one way or another on a lot of routes.
But I wonder, do you really think that this is enough to stop me?
So yeah, very good game. Very I mean, I suppose I have to ask what the price is.
$17.99.
And that's on the Switch too, so it's the same everywhere.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's worth that. It's very good. It's a independently made game, so you're supporting the devs, and it's a really good project. So unless you find this offensive to you, this gets one of my strongest recommendations.
Or if it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met.
And here
Alright
we go.
then.
That's what happened when you get into loop 2.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then
We're gonna head
he's
back
supposed
to
keep
the
it that way.
title screen.
Right then. So I suppose that's everything that Galax wants to say on Slay the Princess, the Pristine cut here.
It does also have significantly good music, but like that is not the main thing you remember because it's mostly about the talking.
Anyway, be sure to tune in after the break as we review Monarchy.